Hey everybody, we hope you're doing well. We just wanted to take a couple of minutes to share some announcements with you. We have been sharing some of these announcements and we wanted to touch on them with a little bit of deeper details, as well as announce a few other things that are upcoming. So you've probably seen, we have new elders. And so we want to talk about how we are going to be ordaining and installing those elders and how we're going to celebrate that and how we're going to tie that celebration into a party for Advent and Christmas. We are also going to talk about ways you can get involved in worship for the Advent and Christmas Eve services. And we're going to touch on Wycombe and small groups. So those are the things we'll be talking with during this time. So I'm going to get Matt to start us off with the new elders announcement.
Also, happy Advent, everybody. See how festive we are? Good. So this is, we are either, if you're watching this, we're either in Advent or just about to start Advent. And yeah, we announced recently that we have new elders. So Afwamante, Conrad Schellenberg, Bruce Wiebe, and Aaron Whitaker. Conrad and Aaron are returning elders, so they're already elders. They're just coming back onto our session, which is the governing body of the church. And so they need to be installed to session. And Afwa and Bruce are brand new elders, so they'll be ordained. We actually ordain our elders. We have a teaching elder, which is a minister, and then ruling elders, which are the kind of the governance side of things. And so we'll do that ordination. Now, right now, we are not able to gather, of course, and we thought about waiting to just see like when can we wait, but there's just been so much waiting, right? And just thinking, oh well, when we can get back together, we'll do this. That we've just decided to. I kind of felt like we need to just throw that out the window now of waiting until we can, and let's just go for it. So we're going to do this on Zoom. The reason I think we're going to do this on Zoom and not YouTube like we normally do is because Zoom actually feels a little more like we are gathering together. And in order to do an ordination and an installation, we actually need those elders to be there. And ideally, we want people from the congregation to be there as well. So Zoom is the best way to kind of do that. And so we'd invite you to join that. That's going to be on December 6th at 6:30 p.m. So it is a Sunday, but it's in the evening. We'll have our regular worship on YouTube in the morning, and then we'll have this special time in the evening. Now, the ordination and installation is not very long. It'll probably only take, like, I think maybe 10 minutes. And so we were talking about this and just thinking, well, normally if we were getting together, we would do it in a regular service, and we'd probably have some sort of celebration, like, and we would also, in Advent, we often have like a decorating party or a carol sing or something for people to get together and just celebrate the season. So why not just put those things together and do that all on Zoom was our thinking. So we're gonna have a party, which is great. And what else can I say about that? Anything else?
I think that I think we wanted to let people know that we both have some experiences in a few different networks we're a part of, having some celebratory time, some gatherings, some, social gatherings on Zoom. So we have experience with that. We know how to navigate Zoom fairly well. We've also heard from some others who have tried some fun things, and we're excited to take from their lead and try out some cool games and see how it goes.
Okay, so on our Zoom party, sorry, now you're sparking my brain to think about this. On our Zoom party, we'll probably do like a Christmas trivia game of some kind. We will do a scavenger hunt, a Christmas or Advent scavenger hunt. We can actually do that on Zoom. Like it's gonna be fun. And what was the other thing?
We want people to dress festively, to be able to show off if they've got their house decorated, or if they haven't decorated yet, maybe grab an ornament in preparation to decorate.
Yeah, actually, to prepare as well, what we want you to do, in addition to doing some fun games, is actually have an ornament or a decoration or something festive that you can show that, like, it might be meaningful to you, or you just might think it's beautiful or whatever, but have it to show, have it ready to bring. So
Like this little dude.
there you go. That's great. So yeah, do that. And the other thing too is normally we would probably have a potluck after church, like lunch or in the evening, coming together for a party. We would say, everyone bring food and we'll share. And it's just so sad we're not able to do that. But why don't we still do that in our own places? Like, so prepare some food. Maybe you've already had supper at that point, or maybe you're going to eat supper during the party. That's totally fine. But feel free to have food with you, and then we might take a moment to just even share, like, what are you eating or drinking tonight to celebrate. And so we'll take that moment to start with welcoming people and all of that, and then we'll have about 10 minutes set aside for the ordination and installation of our elders. We'll take a moment as well to honor and remember all of our elders in our church, because elders remain elders for life, and at Prairie they serve 6-year terms on session. So we actually have a lot of elders in our community who are currently not serving on session, and we have a few that have recently rotated off. So we'll take a moment to acknowledge them and just to celebrate all of the ministry of the elders in our church, as well as do that ordination and induction of new installation of new ones, and then have our big Advent Christmas party. Looking forward to that. So
Yeah.
December 6th.
So our next item is the getting involved in worship. And so there's a few ways you can do that. We are wanting to continue with this theme of festiveness. So we are going to have people send in a video just saying Merry Christmas or season's greetings or whatever you'd like to do, and dress festively. Stand in front of your Christmas tree or your ginormous penguin. Whatever you have, we would love to see your faces. And we will include that in worship, I believe, for Christmas Eve service. So again,
let's add in Happy Birthday Jesus too.
Please. And if you speak another language, feel free to have it in a variety of languages. We think that would be really lovely too.
Raya Noel.
Yes. Feliz Navidad.
Right. I mean, it doesn't even need to be your native tongue. It could be, you can just look up how to say Merry Christmas in other languages and feel free.
Just have some fun with it. We want that. So that's one way. We are going to be having a virtual choir. So if you caught, we did a virtual choir a couple Sundays ago, and it was really well received, a lot of fun. And so we want more people to be involved. This again will be for Christmas Eve service, and we will be singing Joy to the World. Well known, easy to sing along with. The other thing that we're going to do that's kind of a virtual thing, not to sing, but will be a dramatic scripture reading for the Christmas Eve service. There will also be opportunities to do scripture readings throughout Advent as well. And so if you are interested in any of that, again, go to the weekly email. There will be a quick button to hit an email to myself, and then we will have a conversation about what exactly you want to do and how to do all of that. I think that covers it for getting involved in worship right now.
I think so. I also wanted to say, like, this, it's actually a lot of work that goes into making the YouTube videos for the worship the way that we're doing it. And especially in Advent and Christmas, we're actually adding even more things in. The Christmas Eve service will be premiered just because there's a lot of elements that are going into that service that live doesn't actually work for that. And we'll have a couple of other premiered services during Advent, just because of how we are constructing those worship services for you to make them meaningful and hopefully helpful. But actually, I think the biggest thing about these services and why it's worth doing the work is actually, it's because anytime we are worshiping, it's actually about the people of God who are the ones who work together in worship. And and it's more work to involve you in the worship services. And we actually want to do that, because instead of a few people coming together in a building to hear the story, Christmas Eve, light the candles and sing the songs, that's wonderful, and we're going to miss having that. But here we also now have an opportunity to collaborate, to make a video. It seems kind of weird, but we get to collaborate for us putting together this worship service. And this is our worship as we worship God, as we celebrate the incarnation. I mean, that's really what it's about. I don't think it's really about like reaching more people. And likely there's going to be a bunch of more people who will watch different Christmas Eve services and different services during Advent on YouTube and all those kinds of things. But I actually think it's about the act of us participating and different people coming in and being part of the worship life of the church. Even down to, you might not be anybody who does record a video and put it in, but even down to you actually watch it, or you share it, or there's someone in your house who you're like, let's do this together and actually participate in this as best we can in our home. Or even you're going into YouTube in the time when it premieres and engaging in the chat and engaging with other people. So I think all of that is actually how we need to, in this season, we need to really reframe, like, this is how can we worship God as we celebrate the incarnation? And these are some ways. It's not going to work for everyone. Like, this is not a catch-all, like everybody should come and worship at Prairie and this should be how it works for everybody. But we've heard from lots of people in our community that a worship services, what we're doing, have been meaningful for them, and we just want to include more people in that, as it's helpful for them. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, none of that really sounds like it's for me, like maybe there's something else you're doing, and we would actually love to hear how else are you engaging? How else are you celebrating Advent and Christmas? And maybe that's engaging a different faith community, or maybe you're doing something in your home or with family members, whatever that looks like. But I hope that each person that is watching this is actually going to take some time to think about how they're engaging and how they're participating in worshiping God during this season.
Okay, so we've got Wycombe and small groups. So every year for the past all of eternity that I can recall, being with Prairie and previously with Trinity, is the support for Winnipeg inner city missions, doing hampers. This year things are a little different, of course. In the midst of this global health crisis, we are not able to gather to put together hampers. And so money is the way to support hampers happening. Can you say more about that, Matt? Is there anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually somewhat similar to other years too, is we've actually, sometimes we've actually put together a hamper or two, but most years actually we've tried to emphasize that one of the most helpful ways is to give financially to Winnipeg Inner City Missions for the hampers, because what inevitably ends up happening is, even when people donate things or put a hamper together or send stuff, they're always short on certain items, and the people on the ground who actually work with the people who are going to receive a hamper, they actually know what people need and what's going to be most helpful for them. So it's kind of like, sometimes we feel like we are somewhat disconnected when we send money, but I've learned over the years that often money to the organizations that actually know the needs the best, that is actually the most helpful way to support. And it seems sort of like, oh, but I want to do more, but that's actually the best way. And what we'll do, just to make it easier for you, like, you can give through Canada Helps directly to Winnipeg Inner City Mission. So if you're going to give a donation, say online, we'll put a link on our giving page to their giving page. Okay. So if you go to prairiechurch.ca/giving, which is where you get information about how to give to our congregation. I'll make sure a link is put there so that you can get directly to Wycombe to support them. And there's information on Wycombe's website about the various ways to give through Canada Helps, through the Winnipeg Foundation, or even just through sending a check in the mail directly to them. So we just encourage you to go directly to them to do that. I know lots of people have gone through our church before. That's still possible, but in this time when we're separated and we're not gathering together, it's just as easy to send it directly to them. So we encourage you to do that.
Mm. And Matt, you had mentioned about feeling maybe we're not as connected and, you want to do more. I want to encourage everybody, go to Wycombe's website and go to their Instagram page, follow them on Facebook, get their emails, because it's a great way of hearing the stories and finding out how you can pray for the community in a more deliberate way. And that's a way of being connected, I think, which is really, really great. Small group update. Okay, so I'm excited. We have launched 4 small groups. A 5th is about to start, and possibly a 6th, either now or after Christmas. It's amazing. Woo woo! We had 15 participants in various ways for the leadership equipping that we did. Some people were able with their schedules to meet on Zoom live. Others have watched the replay of that and have been engaging, which is great. And so, yeah, that's kind of the bulk of it. It's exciting.
Yeah, and those groups, they range in size as well, right?
Yeah.
And they're really just getting started. So, I mean, there might be some people that get added in or.
Yeah, I think right now our kind of average is 4 to 8 people.
Yeah. And they're all meeting on Zoom.
Yes, everybody is meeting online on Zoom right now. And we'll continue to do that until we are able to freely gather in a safe way. Right. But some of the groups will continue to meet online. We have one where our leader is actually out in Berlin, Germany, and she meets at nighttime for her, but in the afternoon for us in Central Time Zone. And so that is it's wonderful to have people getting involved from everywhere. And we're excited to see what continues to happen through small groups, through this ministry, and building a thicker community where we get to know each other. The one thing I do want to say is that small groups offer a space for a more intimate way of getting to know each other, how we can support each other, pray together, dig into scripture as well. So I know the ideal, I shouldn't say ideal, but often we have this idea of, Bible study groups of, 12, 15 people. But often you have people that dominate the conversation and the others who don't necessarily get to talk. But what we found is in these small, micro groups, that conversation flows so beautifully. Everybody has an opportunity to share, and people feel safer in a smaller group, that even if they don't share as much in the first couple of weeks, you get to know people faster when there's less people, and more freely be able to share, which is really wonderful. So we will have more opportunities to get involved with small groups in the future, in the new year. If you want to be involved and do that, get in contact with me. Again, the weekly email is the way to do that. And we will have a conversation and get you plugged in, and have a conversation, and maybe you want to lead something. And so we'll let you know about our next time of equipping leaders as well. It was great. But please continue to pray for this ministry and pray that God continues to guide us as we do our best to faithfully follow the Spirit's lead.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the small groups. I think that's such a great ministry. And I think, we're just getting started with this. I think that's something also to remember. We had hoped to launch some groups in October, kind of took us into November to really start getting going, and lots of groups have just met once or twice so far. And again, with Christmas, there might be 1 or 2 more meetings before that. And so lots of them might even feel like we haven't really even begun. We're really just going to really start up more in the new year. And so again, if there are people who are interested, like there might be opportunity to just join in with an existing one, or there might be new groups formed, like Jen said. We've actually ended up having potential leaders come in for like, oh, I want to learn how could I lead something like this, and they're not yet leading a group. So there may be new ones that happen, and we'd love to have you be part of that. And thank you, Jen, as well, for your leadership in getting those groups established. I mean, really, Jen's been the one who's pulled these together, and so I'm so appreciative of the work you've done on that.
Thank you. It's been fun for me. I like gathering people and having meaningful conversations on multiple levels. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all unfolds and how God moves through this community. It'll be beautiful.
All right. Great to talk to you all, and have a great Advent and Merry Christmas when we get there.
Take care.